welcome to Night Callers Bigfoot Radio. It is January 27th, and you are here with your usual hosts, Lori Hood and Lauren Smith. How you doing, Lori?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Fabulous. Fabulous. It was a beautiful day today. It's been like negative 60. Okay, not really, but for Oklahoma, it's been really freaking cold here lately, and today was just absolutely gorgeous, just randomly out of the blue.
Did you say it was negative 60? Did I hear you say that?
Yeah. That sounds plausible.
It's not negative. No, it's 60 degrees, not negative 60. That'd be like really cold. Did anyone
else try to be sarcastic with their parents and it doesn't work out? Because that just happened. Basically, my point is it was really, really cold. Like way too dang cold for us.
Oh, wow. Well, it was beautiful
anyway,
here
how are
today.
You?
I mean, we were fine. It was beautiful here today. It was we were running around in short sleeves, and it was just an absolutely beautiful day. Also, I wanted to say that on the recording that I aired last week, since then I have recorded more of the same thing, only this time it's been with other coyotes. So I think it's a coyote. That's what I'm going with anyway. Whatever it is running with coyotes. So that's kind of what. And then this evening I recorded it doing a solo in the yard, very, very close. And so it kind of almost sounded like a fox, but I think it's a coyote. It's just a new one on the block. I've never heard one like her or him. And
that's weird.
It is. It is real strange. I don't know what to make of it. Been hearing a lot of strange things, and so tonight I am actually recording. I've got it away from the house so that talking won't. Hopefully, it won't pick up me talking. It's that bionic ear, it picks up everything. So hopefully, it won't pick up the show and all. But anyway, also. You know, did you hear about the little 3-year-old boy in North Carolina that was missing for like 3 or 4 days?
I think was it a 2-year-old?
I think he was 3.
I thought it was okay, yeah, I heard that he was found safe.
Yes, but did you hear what he said? He said he spent 2 days with a bear. The bear and him were friends.
Well, that's interesting.
Yes, it is. What I would really like to know is, do bears hibernate in North Carolina?
That was not what I thought you were going to ask, but okay.
Well, you know what I was thinking. As soon as I heard that, you know what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that is very interesting, though. I wonder if, I mean, I don't know if, their climates have been warmer, or I don't know. That's interesting. I was shocked.
But do you think a 2 or 3-year-old child would know? Do you think a 2 or 3-year-old child would know the difference between a bear and a Sasquatch?
Probably not.
I mean, your kids would, but.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, when I was little, I always thought Cousin It was a bear, so, I don't think it'd take much to convince me that, a big shaggy dog wasn't a bear at that age. He's so little, so, yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
That is crazy.
I just thought I would share that with you. Yeah, yeah. Well, tonight we have Michael Cook. He is, by his colleagues, they consider him one of the most open-minded researchers in the world. And I have to say that Michael and Gwendolyn are going very much outside the box and trying new techniques. And if anybody wants to watch the video, we have it on our Facebook page. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I never would have thought to do what they've done, but I'm going to let him explain it. We had Michael on several years ago, and I was sure that we did, because I thought surely there's not two Michael Cooks out there that research Bigfoot, but you never know. But apparently we did have him on several years ago, so I'm so happy to bring him back. So let's bring Michael back. Michael is is driving right now, and as soon as you start talking, that road noise will just go down. How are you doing, Michael?
It won't be as bad.
Oh, I'm good, girls. How are you?
We're doing absolutely fabulous.
Listen, I'm on
We're glad to have
cloud
you
nine
on.
right now. Oh, I'm glad to be back on with you all. It's been a wild few years for me, and we'll get into that. I'll try to rapid fire everything, get in as much information as I possibly can. Should have probably scheduled this for an hour and a half, but you know what? We'll do what we can with what we got. So, part one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Part one. Yeah, this is going to be part one, and then we're going to come back into February with part two, because apparently we're scheduled for a ways. So would that be all right with you, Michael? We'll get you right now, you know. Come back to part
absolutely.
two.
I'll make it. I'll make myself available and be there for you all. So yeah, it's been a few years. A lot has happened. A lot has changed with us or with me, and now there's an us. And that's Gwendolyn. That's probably there's Gwendolyn. She's not feeling well tonight. She was going to join me tonight, and we've been running all weekend, and she just did not feel well tonight. And I called her right before the show, and I said, hey, you know, let's go ahead and three-way this in and all that. And she said she was not feeling well, but she would be getting a hold of you all. And hopefully she'll be there for part two in February. But
I hope so, too.
Perfect. Hope she gets to feeling better.
So everything going on. Do what?
Why did you start with refreshing everyone on your face-to-face encounter?
Oh, Lord.
Your very first encounter. Yeah.
That was what thrust me into the Bigfoot world, and it didn't happen instantly by no means. You know, when I was a teenager, I skipped school, I went fishing on the riverbank, and a large hair-covered creature rolled off the hill in front of me. When it stood up, it was on two legs in the river, made its way over to the next bank, and got up, shook itself off, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. The whole encounter lasted probably about 35 seconds face-to-face. It takes way longer to tell the story than the actual encounter took. But once it shook off and everything, it started to go back up into the woods, and it turned and looked at me in a similar way as Patty looked at Roger and Bob in the Patterson-Gimlin film. It turned its head, looked at me. We locked eyes, and it had this embarrassed look on its face that it had saw, or that it had let me see it, and it let out a few
having an oops moment.
It was it was a mistake, and everything. It slipped, tripped, it done something to make itself come down the hill, and once it figured out that I was me and it was it, then it let out a few grunts, loud guttural grunts, and I got out of there. I ran straight to my car. I got in, and I cried for a little bit. I was scared. I knew this thing was somewhere around me, but however, it had already made its way back up in the woods. But you know, when you're a teenager, you have those irrational thoughts, and even not even a teenager. I said that wrong. An adult, even someone in their 80s and still with good mind, would have irrational thoughts when this would happen to them. And
exactly.
You know, after it was all said and done, though, it took a year. It took a whole year for me to actually come out with it and start telling people what happened. And not long after that, then that's when I joined. I was sponsored and joined a very well-known organization for Bigfooting, and stayed with that for right around 5 years. And everything after that, everything after my time in that organization has been mostly on a solo or collaborating team research project. I've worked with many researchers, and I still work with that organization. Still friends with them and everything. We are still friends with a lot of them. But in 2011, I created the Kentucky Sasquatch Team, researched Kentucky and surrounding states until 2016. In 2016, we decided to disband, and I went back into the field research work that I left. I was doing more encounter investigations and all that. So I didn't get out in the field and do my own research. I was researching encounters, and I wanted to get back out and do it. I was getting fat and lazy. I wanted to get back out in the woods and do it. And you know, there's so many other people out there that love to do that. I still love to talk to people who've had encounters and such. However, you know, most of them has happened
it's way
years
better
and years
to have
and years.
your own.
Exactly, and that's the thing. You know, in the last 3 years, just 3 years alone, this summer is when I created Kentucky Cook Cryptid Research, and I've been out with the BFRO. I've been out with so many other groups and organizations out there working on a collaborating level, and you know, finding answers to questions, but not the main definitive answer. What is Bigfoot? We already know that they exist. We know it. The ones that believe it and know it, have seen it, have felt it, you never forget it. You know that's a living, breathing creature. What is it? Who knows? We're right there, though. I mean, I always said, and it's a common thing with other researchers, oh, next year is the year for Bigfoot. That's going to be the year. Well, no, in reality, it's probably in the next 10 to 15, maybe even 20 years, maybe not even in our lifetime, but there will be an answer what this creature is. I hope I'm still alive, and I hope that I'm there. Yeah, I hope that I'm there when that question is finally answered, and I hope I'm part of it that comes out with it. But you know, in 2016 though, I went into that full force, head on. I don't know how many expeditions, research trips that I went on, led. I could tell you, but I don't have my notes in front of me. I'd say probably about 5 major expeditions in 2016 to 2017. Then research trips were an every weekend occurrence, and I started making Bigfoot my life. You know, at this point, this was coming up, and we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary of my first encounter, and that's a big milestone, really and truly it is.
Yes.
And I cannot believe that I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and it still blows my mind that I'm even in this world. But in 2017, I found myself so engulfed, so consumed with the Bigfoot stuff that I had put everything and everybody on the back burner. And you know,
I've been there.
I'd been single for a long time. I didn't have any interest in dating anybody. I was, and if they wasn't in the Bigfoot world, I didn't want to be with them. And, finally, I had my kid one weekend, and my son, he's 10 now, so he'd have been 8 then. And 8-year-olds have a way where they are 100% true and honest to a fault. And, I had him one weekend. I picked him up from school on Friday, and he said, "Daddy, I didn't know, are you going to be out looking for Bigfoot this weekend, or are we going to hang?" And that right there, it was almost like a slap in the face. I said, "Oh, my goodness. What have I done?" I don't think, it was a 2.5-hour drive back to my parents from where I picked him up at, and we were going to my parents for the weekend. And I don't think the whole 2.5 hours I even said a word. I just sat and thought about what he said, and it took a couple of weeks, and I came to a decision that I thought was the best thing to do at the time, and that was to step away. What I considered permanently, I was leaving the Bigfoot community, the Bigfoot world, and everything forever. I didn't want anything to do with Bigfoot. I am too. I wanted away from it. So, I made this huge announcement on Facebook. I said, "Hey, listen, my son is the most important thing in my life. He is my favorite thing in the world out of everything in the world. And there's billions and trillions of things out there. He is my favorite. And I cannot go any longer and put him, my parents, my brother, anybody else on the back burner for Bigfoot. I'm not doing it anymore. Don't call me. Don't talk to me about Bigfoot." And you know what, girl?
What?
It was
Okay. You were breaking up a little bit. Are you there? Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Looks like. Yes. Okay. You said, do you know what?
Oh, yeah. It was nice not having Bigfoot looming over me anymore. And I didn't even watch Finding Bigfoot or anything. I left it. I said, and for 9 months, girls, 9 months, I didn't talk about Bigfoot. I lost a lot of friends over it, and I realized then that Bigfoot was the reason we were friends, and if you're my friend over Bigfoot, you're not my friend at all.
Right.
If you can't tell me, what me and my son are doing, if you're a Facebook friend and you can't tell me what I'm doing, you only worry about what I'm doing in the Bigfoot world, and you're not my friend. You're a stranger. So a lot of people unfriended me and all that. But 9 months, almost to the day that I walked away from Bigfoot, I got a phone call from somebody in southern Kentucky, and they said, we found your number, and we've got a Bigfoot problem. Well, automatically I rolled. I was like, I can give you the number to Charlie Raymond. I can give you a number to the BFRO, but not me. And she said, well, I've got a picture of something on trail cam. And I said, okay. And she goes, can I send it to you? And I said, well, I'll look at it.
Oh, there you are. There's the hook.
There's the hook. I mean, and I said, I'll look at it, but I'm not going to give you anything on it. And when she sent it to me, I went, oh, my God. So I sat for probably 5 or 6 hours studying this picture and found myself coming right back into it. Well, 2018 turned out to be one of the most epic years as far as my Bigfoot world, my Bigfoot life has ever been. I mean, I went back into it. I spoke at a conference in my hometown that last year, and then I went to Daniel Benoit's conference up in Virginia back in June, I got a phone call from a buddy of mine while I was up there. I was actually up there as a unannounced guest, if you could say. I was there for the film Cultured Bigfoot, which I was part of by Bill and Amy Lancaster. I actually rode up with Bill, and we camped out for a few days in his camper and went to the conference and stuff. Met a ton of people that were awesome. But I got a phone call from my buddy Jeff down in Tennessee while I was there, and he was like, "Hey man, where you at?" And I was like, "Well, I'm in Northern Virginia right now at a conference." And he said, "Oh, when you going to be home?" I said, "I think we're leaving tomorrow." He goes, "So you want to go to California?" And I was like, "Whoa, yeah, let me look at work here and I'll get back to you." Well, I called work and I said, "Hey, is it all right if I take another week and a half off?" And they're like, "You got the time, hammer down." So I left. I went back to Bristol, Tennessee. That next day with Bill, got in my car, drove on farther south, and Jeff picked me up at my uncle's house, and 3 days later we were in California. And here's the thing,
where'd
girls.
you go in California? Where?
There's where I'm going, though. That's what I'm getting to. So on the way out through there, we saw so many different major Bigfoot sites and stuff where encounters had happened and all this, and we had the blessed privilege of being at Bluff Creek, Patterson-Gimlin film site.
Oh my goodness! I knew you were going to say
Mecca.
that.
We hiked, and here's the Bigfoot Mecca, folks. I mean, and let me tell you, anybody out there listening, if you're a Bigfoot enthusiast, if you're a researcher, you owe it to yourself to go out there one time. But however, let me tell you this: there is a reason why Bob and Roger went in there on horses. It is very rough terrain, and we followed directions from Stephen Stupper, who owns the Bigfoot bookstore in Willow Creek, good friend of ours, and we went down logging roads and everything, four-wheeler roads, ATV roads and everything, in a minivan. And the road ended right at a berm of dirt that led into a logging road, and it said right on the directions, take the logging road down to the creek. So it was probably a good half mile, three-quarters of a mile straight down the side of a mountain. So Jeff is behind me, and we're walking down, and we get about halfway down this logging road, and I swear to God this happened, and I don't make anything up. I don't stretch the truth when it comes to Bigfoot. It's just not good stuff. So we're walking, we're kind of being quiet, and we get down through there. About halfway down, we heard a grunt. It was not a bear grunt. It was not a grunt from a deer or anything else. It was a guttural grunt. And I stopped in my tracks. And I look over my shoulder with this big grin on my face, and I said, "Jeff, did you hear that?" He goes, "Man, I was really hoping you wouldn't say that." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I heard it. I was just hoping that I was hearing things." I was like, "Oh, my God." So we get on down through there. We heard a wood knock. We heard several different what could be considered shuffling in the leaves, just right outside. We went down. We come around a ridge, and there it was. It don't look anything like what it looked like in 67, of course, 52 years ago. Everything's kind of grown up. But if you have ever watched the Patterson-Gimlin film, you will know what you're looking at when you get there. So we made our way back up. We enjoyed what we had. We had to get on out of there, though. So we made our way on back up to the van. We got up to the van. And if anybody's listening wants to fact check this, then have at it. My Facebook page is public. You can go on there and go to Jeff and Mike's Excellent Adventures album. You'll see the pictures I'm getting ready to talk about. So
okay.
we get up to the minivan, and we're both completely parched. We're not. We're out of water. We had water in the cooler in the van. So I go around the side of the van, and I go to open the side door to get to the cooler, and there is a handprint. And our van was very dusty, so the handprint
How
was
big
large.
was it?
It was much bigger than my hand. I don't have a very big hand, but it was bigger than a human hand. It was 5 fingers. It was a 5-fingered handprint on the side of the van. And
wow.
you know, you go to thinking about stuff. Okay, I heard a grunt, heard tree knocks, whatever. This is Bluff Creek. This is the home of Bigfoot. But however, there could be somebody else up here. They could be messing with us or whatever. So I walk around the side of the van, and I'm not gonna paint a picture that's not true. I walked around. I told we took pictures of the handprint, of course. But I walked around. I went over to the wood line where it got pretty thick at to pee. I mean, you know, that's what I was doing. I went over to pee, and as I was peeing, I looked straight ahead, and there's this X formation, but it's not just an X. It's like an asterisk. And it's intelligently designed. It's not something that happens naturally in the forest. And this formation, I said, Jeff, was that there? Because Jeff came right there and peed before I did. Do you remember seeing that? He goes, no, I looked right at that before we went down. And I said, I look over away from it, and there is a tree, a half a tree, up in top of another tree, about 14 foot high. And I said, you know what? I can debunk the handprint. That could be somebody messing with us up here. The X formation, the asterisk formation, yeah, it's kind of kooky. But could it be done by a human? It could be done by a couple of humans working together. But that right there, that 14-foot tree in another tree, that's not right. And the root ball was on the end of the tree that was in top of the other tree, so it was ripped out of the ground. And I said, no human possible could do that unless they had equipment,
right.
And there's no equipment been in here since 1973. So,
yeah.
you know, and you know, we had Bigfoot stuff happening in the Bigfoot capital of the world. So, you know.
Well, at least it wasn't a bust. Thank goodness something happened. That would have been disappointing to go all that way and have nothing happen.
Right.
That was wonderful.
You know, we took off out of Bluff Creek, went down to Willow Creek, ate the Bigfoot burger in Willow Creek, went by Stuper's Bigfoot Books store, hung out with Robert Leiterman. He was on the final episode of Finding Bigfoot. He was with Cliff Barrickman on the show when they went into Bluff Creek on the series finale. I run into him, and it was just like two old friends. Well, we are two old friends. It was just like two brothers hanging out together. And we went on down. We drove on down and started our road trip back again. Went by Mount Shasta. That was awesome. But we turned around and came back. We went up into Washington to the Blue Mountains where Paul Freeman got his famous footage at. And all that. And we came back across Montana. I spent a lot of time in Montana in recent years researching with Brian Sullivan of the Montana Bigfoot Project. So we went back through Montana, enjoyed every single bit of the trip, and we made a big circle is all we done. So, you know, we come back, and everything is just great. So I'm toward the end of July, I was on another podcast, and at the end of it, I mentioned that I would be at Kentucky Cryptid Con in Frankfurt in a couple of weekends. And if anybody heard the show, and you know what, I want to say this too. If anybody hears this show and you tell me you heard me on Night Callers Radio, but you got to do it in person. You tell me you heard me on Night Callers Radio, I will give you an Uncharted Para-Cryptid T-shirt, and and you just got to tell me you heard me on this show. So I tell people on there, I say, on the other podcast, I said, if you hear me if you come up to me at CryptidCon and tell me you heard me on the show, then I will give you a Cook Cryptid Research T-shirt and for free. All you got to do is tell me you heard me on the show. So the podcast host is going to be there too, and so I ended the show, and when I hung up, I was fiddling around there at the house, and I get this message from this girl, and she says, I heard you on the show, can I get a T-shirt? And I said, well, you have to meet me in person to get the T-shirt. And, after a couple of days of conversing and stuff via Facebook Messenger, we became friends. And, when CryptidCon came about, I just sent her a message and said, hey, how about you drive down? She lives up near Cincinnati, and I said, how about you drive down and go to CryptidCon with me, be my plus one. I'm not a guest or anything. I'm not speaking. I'm just going to hang out. I wanted to meet Travis Walton, which is, he was Fire in the Sky guy. I got, that guy, man, he is top notch. One of my highlights. Him and Bob Gimlin, two of my favorite people in this world that I've really, really, truly respected and researched over the years. But and I wanted to hang out with my friends, all these guys that go to CryptidCon, Mike Miller, Mike Beltner, Ohio Night Stalkers, two of my best friends in the world. My buddy Bill Lancaster and Amy were there with Cultured Bigfoot, and She Squatchers and Squatchers from Minnesota. They were there. So this girl sends me a message and she says, hey, I'm here. I actually thought she was getting ready to stand me up. And she sent me a message and goes, hey, I'm here. And she walked around where the booths and stuff are in the conference. And I was standing there talking to David and Melinda Bacara and Sibylla Irwin, three of my favorite people in the world. They own Expedition Bigfoot Museum in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And we were standing there talking, and this girl comes around, and she says, hi. And I said, hi. And I can honestly say I'm not getting lovey-dovey or mushy-gushy with everybody. But it was truly love at first sight. And
oh, my goodness.
So I walked around, and, Cliff Berkman and James Fay, Bobo, from Finding Bigfoot, I've known them guys since before Finding Bigfoot, before they were ever a household name as far as TV goes. And, I said, hey, you want to meet the guys and everything? So we went over there. She got her picture with Cliff and Bobo, and, me and Bobo, we talked about some stuff. But I asked her, I said, we're getting ready to go to dinner. Mike Miller and Mike Beltner is wanting to go over to this steakhouse and stuff. You want to tag along with us? And she said, absolutely. So she got in my car. We drove over there. And, as I'm a firm believer in God, folks. Without God, there's nothing in this world
Amen.
Can happen. And so God decided it was a good time to start a torrential downpour rain, monsoon rain, while we were in the parking lot. And I used that time to lean over and kiss her. And
wow,
really,
you moved fast.
I do. I don't play around. I'm a very, very moving forward kind of guy. So we discussed things. We hung out the rest of the night, and a couple weekends later, we were in a full-blown relationship, and like we had been dating for years and known each other for years, and it's been like that ever since. We have our little fusses and arguments and stuff, but any couple does. My parents have been married for close to 40 years, and they still bite and everything at each other. So, you can't have a good, wholesome, decent relationship without an argument here and there. But so in October, a couple years ago, before I took the hiatus, I had a publicist. I hired a publicist company to schedule appearances and this and that for me for the conferences and stuff. And I ended up getting rid of them when I quit for that 9 months. And I said, you know what? When I come back, 'cause I'm gonna go ahead and schedule my own stuff. Well, I'm really bad at that. I found out that I'm really good at my job, but I'm really bad at that job. So I triple booked myself one weekend, and I triple booked myself. Thank God, 2 of the library lectures were close together and different times, and then I had a Bigfoot hike scheduled for a public Bigfoot hike in an area that I had not been in because a friend of mine and I had closed it down. We said we wasn't going back in there because last couple of times we were in there, nothing really happened, and there's a lot of foot traffic in and out of there as far as hiking goes. So we said it was a waste of time going in there. Nothing's going to happen. But here's the crazy thing. Gwendolyn, the girl I'm talking about, my girlfriend, my love of my life, my future wife, and the co-founder of Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies, yin to my yang, she had scheduled a 48-hour ghost hunt in Indiana, just northeast of Indianapolis, at a place that's pretty famous in the ghost hunting world called the Mysterious Monroe House. It's supposedly, allegedly haunted by demons, along with malevolent spirits and stuff. And you all know me. I'm cool. I fiddled around with the Bigfoot stuff for a long time, and I said, you know what, let's throw a little bit more excitement in there, and I want to go ghost hunting. Well, I found out how big of a chicken I really am when it comes to ghosts. I can see a Bigfoot, I can't see a ghost. So there's your difference right there. So on that Wednesday night, we were in the Monroe House, and I was sitting there doing a solo investigation where I had a camera on me, had a YouTube live going and all that. And I up until this moment, I thought, this is all hokey pokey. I think there's ghosts, but I don't think it's like what people say they are, whatever. So I went to get up. This is crazy. And you can see this on the YouTube channel, Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies. I went to get up, and when I went to get up, I couldn't. Something was sitting on my lap.
Oh, my Lord.
I said, okay. Maybe I thought, I started rationally thinking at first, and I said, maybe I got a pinched nerve or something. So I moved around a little bit and went to get back up, and that time it pushed me down on the seat.
Oh.
And I could feel something sitting on my lap. And Gwen was watching me on YouTube Live downstairs at Control Center, and I told her, I said, you need to come up here now. So I went, she came in, and when she came in the room, now this room that I was in, since I'm really stupid, the room was filled with Ouija boards and collectible memorabilia from Aleister Crowley, the founder of modern-day Satanism. It was filled with his stuff from his house in Scotland. So I'm in a room completely.
And you were the only one in there? In there? Wow.
So Gwen walks through the door.
Like you were ghost bait.
Oh, yeah, I was bait for something. And Gwen comes running through the door, and as soon as she comes running, it, squeezed me. And I was like, hey, get back out. This is not good. And I'm thinking, pretty calmly at the time. I said, okay, we need to do something. So I grabbed her hand, and when I grabbed her hand, it just lifted up off of me. And like I said, folks, you can see this on YouTube, on Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies YouTube channel. Just go down the videos. So the next night or so, we got an EVP on recording and everything. We asked the question, what do you want us to do? And after a couple of weeks of fiddling with it and everything, we slowed it down on audio, and it clears a bell. It says, can you stay the night? And it was none of us. There was 3 of us in the room. None of our voices or anything. We actually got the same name said 7 times on Spirit Box And I'm segueing into the spirit box and the EVPs and the EMF stuff, by the way. So just hang with me. I know the ghost hunting stuff is a Bigfoot show, but this is a good segue to go into what we're doing now. So come off the road. We had one night of rest before the 2 lectures at the libraries that next day, and then we had the Bigfoot hike, the public Bigfoot hike, and I think I said a curse word just then. But anyway, we got in I done the library lectures and everything. I was completely and totally drained of energy. I couldn't do it anymore. So I tell the people, there was several people came for the Bigfoot hike. I told them before going in, I said, hey, listen, you know, I'm taking you up here where Glenn, Mink, and I saw 2 creatures. I'm taking you up to one of the most beautiful lookouts in the state of Kentucky. You know, it's a hellacious hike going up. You know, if you can do it, great. If you can't, we completely understand. This is no money involved. You know, you want to hang with us, you can. Halfway up, we lost, I don't know, about 6 of them. And we lost them right before the trail turns up real bad. So it was Gwendolyn, myself, and our friend Kenny Smith was with us. Kenny was a friend of mine. He is a friend of mine. He wanted to go on a research trip. This perfect opportunity. And after they left, I told him, I said, Kenny, Gwen, I can't guarantee you anything's going to happen. We're going to hike up here to the top. I didn't even bring flashlights with me, girls, because I was fully committed of getting back out of there, drinking beer and eating steak by dark. That was my plan. I was tired. I was completely exhausted. I was hitting rock star exhaustion is where I was going. I was getting sick to my stomach anyway. So we go up. I show Kenny and Gwendolyn where we saw the 2 Bigfoot at, where Glenn, Mink, and myself saw the 2 Bigfoot. We had a blue light flash one night on Glenn, Mink, and I. Showed them where that happened and everything. We went out to the lookout, and we sat there. And, it was a couples thing. It really was. Kenny was wandering around taking pictures, but, Gwen and I, we sat there and watched the sunset. And it was beautiful until I realized that the sun was setting, and we didn't have flashlights. And we had to make about a 3-mile hike out, straight down the side of a mountain. Kenny come to the rescue. Hey, I got 3 flashlights. They're like keychain flashlights, but they're good enough to see. So we come out of there. We get about halfway down the mountain, and I get ahead of Kenny and Gwen because there's these rocks that's really hard to get down. And I was ahead of them, and I was standing there watching them come down, making sure neither one of them fell, because I was responsible for them too. I threw them in there. I didn't want anything to happen to them. So I'm standing there. They're taking their slow, sweet time coming off these rocks, and I hear something up on the ridge across from me scoot, like it was a scooting sound off the cliff. And I thought to myself, bears don't do that. Deer don't do that. We might have a problem here. So they got on off the rocks. We made our way on down through there. And we got down to where it gets a little better. It's not as steep. And I told them, I said, let's get down here. I need to tell you all something. The whole time we were walking, I kept on hearing something walk parallel to us up in the woods. And it was distinctive bipedal footsteps.
Yeah.
And we got down to where it wasn't as steep. And the reason why I didn't want to tell you this up there is because if we had to run, we would have never been able to run down that steep part. It would have turned out really bad. So the whole time from them rocks down here, there's something up on this ridge walking beside us. And the problem is we don't have any light to see up there. And I came in completely unprepared. I had a gun with me. I had a pistol with me. It was in my backpack though. I didn't think I didn't want to get it out around anybody else besides them two, simply because I don't know how people react to that. So I'm respectable when it comes to that. So we got on down, and I said, okay, we're about 300 yards away from the cars in the parking lot when we stopped again. And we stopped.
How many of there are you? Is it just you three, or is there more?
No, it's just us three. The rest of the group left during daylight hours before we ever got up to the top.
Oh,
and
okay.
they were young a young man and a couple of young girls with them, and they wanted to get to a party. They were college students. They wanted to get to a party before dark, so understandable. I've been there.
Yeah.
So they left 3 hours before this ever happened to us. So we get down there, and I said, okay, we're in a pretty comfortable area right now. I'm going to do a tree knock and a whoop and see if we can't get this thing up there on its heel to talk to us, to interact with us. So I slapped the side of a tree with a stick, and I let out a pretty good whoop. And when I did, as soon as I let that whoop out, there was a crash, tree knock, happen right above us. And I look around, and I told Gwen, I said, start recording now. So she pulls out her phone. And this is important information, by the way. Remember this, what I'm getting ready to say. She pulls out her phone. She didn't have enough storage on her phone to record a complete video, so she went on YouTube Live, which we had used for 48 hours in the Monroe House 2 days before. We used the whole time. Nothing ever happened to it. So we're standing there, and this crash happens. So when this crash happens, we heard another one down below us. And it was almost like it took its hand and slapped the side of a tree. And she starts recording. And on the first part of the recording, you're going to see, this is on YouTube, by the way. It's on Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies YouTube channel. The first part of the recording, you see me, and I'm doing a TV thing where I'm like, I'm full on hosting a TV show on YouTube there. I'm like, we have definitely got two creatures around us right now. Over the course of the next 53 minutes or so, we ended up having about 6 of these creatures around us.
Oh my
and
gosh!
They were closing in on us, getting closer and closer. Kenny, this is his first time ever in the woods with doing Bigfoot stuff. So Kenny is noticeably getting a little bit nervous. I'm getting nervous because I'm responsible
primarily
for
a paranormal researcher. Is that correct?
Gwendolyn was Kenny. Yeah, he researched paranormal stuff, but the Bigfoot stuff was kind of new to him. And Gwendolyn was solely a paranormal researcher, just getting into this. And so I was responsible for both of them. So we're standing there, and I told him, I said, guys, we need to watch on all sides of us here because they're coming in on us. And I was talking to them, whatever it was out there. I said, hey, listen, we're here. We're not going to hurt you. Don't hurt us. And Gwendolyn would talk, and it was almost like it would just energize whatever was out there. So they had heard her voice, and they were really interested in her. So she was roughly about 10 foot from me, and I walk over, and I just grabbed her shoulders, all done, just to get her attention. And I said, babe, and as soon as I got babe out of my mouth, one rushed us. It was coming right for us. Well, I'd already got my pistol out at this time, and it's the first time, folks, that I've ever drawn my firearm in the woods while Bigfooting. It's the first time I ever done that. And I drew my sidearm, and I thought, hey, I will put whatever it is coming after us down. I will empty a clip. So we discussed things, and I said, listen, Kenny is completely ready to get out of there. Gwendolyn, she's excited. She doesn't really want to leave, but, judgment call, it's time to go. We got to go. We got to get out of here. They don't like us here. They're trying to rush us out of here. The only open window they left us was an escape route straight down. On all sides of us except straight down toward the parking lot. So we get down there. She's still recording YouTube Live, by the way. She's still on it. And I'm walking behind Kenny and Gwen. I told them, stay together. I got the back. You all stay together. And I turn around, and that little dim flashlight I had, I'm pointing it back behind us, towards the trail. And the silhouette of something around 8.5 foot tall took one step across the trail, probably about 15, 20 foot from me. And I said it, but it was real low. I don't think Kenny or Gwendolyn heard me. I said, listen, don't do this, because I do have a gun in my hand. I'll fire. Don't do this. I don't want to be that guy that proves Bigfoot exists by putting one in his head. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So we get on down, and, you know, I told them, I called up to them, I said, hey, listen, we need to hurry up here. I said, but since I'm behind you all, if something happens, run. Don't look back. Don't come for me. If something happens back here, run. Run to the car, lock the doors, get out of here. I'm okay. I'm perfectly fine with this. I'm okay with this. You know, just don't come back for me, whatever you do, because you don't know what these things are going to do.
No, you don't.
I
You never do.
say, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. I learn something new every single time. And David Pilatus freaks me out with missing 411. There's something plucking people out of the cars, off the trails, and you know, it can happen. So I told them, I said, run, don't look back. I'm okay. I really am. I'm okay going like this. I really am. So we got on down. Nothing happened, obviously. So I got on down there, and we got to the shelter house where the trail ends and stuff. And we're standing there, and I took a big deep breath. I'm like, whew, all right, we're good. So I said that, and one threw a rock and smacked the side of the shelter it sounded like a shotgun went off. Scared the tea out of me. And we made our way on down. We still got YouTube going, by the way. So we're going down. We make our way on down to the very, very end where there's a fence at, and you go into the parking lot. And I'm like, all right, guys, what do you think about that? Do you believe in Bigfoot now? So I went back into my research mode, and I'm like, you know, what do you think? So we're standing there talking about it. And, girls, it is right here on the ridge next to us, the bottom ridge. We heard whoop on top of the ridge. I said, oh, my God. As soon as that happened, another one up above it whooped. And they went up that ridge, probably about 6 of them, whooping. Whoop, all in synchronizing whoops. And, you know, Kenny, Gwen, and I are all three looking at each other like, holy crap. It dawns on me. We've got this. We've got it on recording. Finally, we've got everything. This is it. We're coming out with this. This is going to be epic. So they're still up there just celebrating because they run us out, apparently. So I said, okay, we need to get on out of here, get to the car, get home, save this. We got to get this out. The best evidence I've ever gotten in my life, besides the film of the two with Glenn and Mink. And you can't even see much. You can see a little bit, but we're going to talk about that in just a second to end this and leave it for a part 2 to be continued.
Yes.
So
yes, because get 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay. So we get to the car, and she saves it on YouTube. Goes to go ahead and publish it. When she goes to publish it, YouTube Live crashes. We lost 47 minutes of footage. It saved the first 9 minutes, but we got the first 9 minutes. We did get a guttural growl on recording. It's on YouTube Live. You can go and watch it right now. I encourage you to go watch YouTube Live footage from back in October on Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies. 47 minutes was lost, but 2 years ago, Glenn, Mink, and I had an encounter at the same area with two creatures. We witnessed two creatures standing 25 foot from us. We got that on film. That's on Squatch Investigator YouTube channel for Glenn Mink. 2 years ago, November, this past November was 2 years. Last night, Glenn Mink and I and Gwen had dinner together at my home in Kentucky. And he pulled up an old video. We wanted to show Gwen what exactly happened in the video and stuff. Glenn had the recreation we done 2 weeks after the sighting. On that investigation, on that recreate, we got a picture of a freaking Bigfoot that we didn't know was on there for 2 freaking years, folks.
Was that the pictures that you sent me? Was that the pictures you sent me?
I sent you last night, Lori. That's the pictures I sent you last night. If you look directly in the middle of the screen.
Because they were on the phone and, I couldn't. Yeah. Oh, wow.
If you look at the middle of that screen, you will see something standing right there looking at me. I never saw it the day that it happened. Glenn Mink never saw it. We were doing a recreate to see how big the two were we saw 2 weeks before. Now, that is going back into that area on March the 2nd, 2019, a multiple team investigation, including but not limited to the Ohio Night Stalkers, Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies, Glenn Mink, Squatch Investigator, and hopefully a couple more teams will be joining us also. We're going back in there to recreate that. Here's the thing, folks. If you look at the pictures that I put on Facebook on Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies last night, look straight in the middle of the screen, you'll see a dark figure. You can make out a head, a jawline, a chest, 2 shoulders, and 2 arms looking directly at me about 30 feet behind Glenn. In the 2 pictures after, it was not standing there. It moves in every picture. We never saw it the whole time we were there. So, to be continued, folks.
To be continued. Absolutely continued. Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, we've got gonna see if we can't get you on the 24th. The 24th of February.
Oh yeah,
all right.
We'll put me down. I will be also on the Tony Merkel show, The Confessionals, in a couple of weeks, and in October of this year, got a big announcement coming up. Something will be happening in October this year. I'm going back to Bluff Creek in October, by the way, but something else is happening that's major that we done back in December. Something major happening that will be coming out in October. So everybody can check that out. I will be at the ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Conference in June, and a couple of other different things coming up also. You can go find us on Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies. I'm Michael Cook on Facebook, Gwendolynn Guthrie on Facebook also. Anything paranormal, cryptid, weird, whatever you want to call it, we'll investigate it. We'll come out and do it. We go in places people come out running. We're not crazy. We're just curious. And also, Lauren, you got a friend. Your son's got a friend named Charlie now. We got a doll. We got a clown named Charlie who is haunted by a clown that's haunted by a ghost named Charlie. So, so send me some information on that. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'll link up with you.
Okay, awesome. And the 24th, folks, I'll be back on Night Callers Radio.
That's right.
Yes, thank you.
We'll have him back on the 24th. Thank you for coming on. This hour just flew by. It was so great.
It really did.
You're
also,
fantastic.
I'll be bringing Gwendolyn. With me on the next call-in, so she can talk about some ghost stuff too for those interested.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Well, we're streaming now, and we've got Russ Jones from West Virginia that's coming on. So we'll see you all next week at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Night Callers Bigfoot Radio. So good night, everybody.